Hello, and welcome back to A Journey to King's Cross, a Harry Potter book podcast. We are on Chapter 21 of The Prisoner of Azkaban, Hermione's Secret. Now, if we don't have any more issues with our recording software, we should be alright. But we just actually were commenting about the chapter art when we accidentally realized that the system, for some reason, wasn't picking up on our sound.
So, take two.
Thankfully, we didn't get very far when I noticed that we weren't getting any actual noise. But we were commenting about the fact that the time turner in the movie looks much better than the actual chapter art. The chapter art being basically a glorified hourglass on a chain.
Which is literally what the description is.
Yeah, but it sounds like we're supposed to twist it or something, which I have no idea how you twist a stationary object. Unless there's some sort of...
she turns it over 3 times. So you would just flip it and then flip it again. But, it does make more sense to be the movie version where it's on a little disc that spins, because if it's on the cord, what do? Spin it around the cord 3 times? But yeah, no, it doesn't quite it makes more sense to have an actual spinning mechanism.
I personally think the movie does look a lot better than the hourglass. Well, that was weird. Anyway, this chapter... Getting cheese all over myself.
You misfired a little bit. It did?
Uh-huh.
What are you thinking of?
The smile on your face implies that you're also thinking along those lines.
Because you're making me nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're just staring at me.
Yeah.
All I said is that you had a little accident.
Now you're making it sound like I pissed myself.
So I do like how she starts the conversation where Harry's just waking up, so he's listening to the middle of a conversation. He's like, "Oh, shocking business. Thank goodness you were there, Snape," which I'm sure that's never something Harry would ever want to hear when waking up.
No doubt.
And talking about him getting an Order of Merlin first or second or even first class if he can get it.
Yeah, it does kind of irritate me a little bit that they completely dismiss Harry right now, to be perfectly honest. I feel like under any other circumstance, they'd be believing whatever the hell he says and stuff. But for some reason, of course, this time around...
Maybe. But at the same time, it's a lot more complicated if they listen to Harry.
No, it's a happy ending is what happens. We don't really get the plot, to some degree.
Right. And to be honest, it's also that whole, the ministry's been notorious at not going through a proper investigation on anything. Very quick to believe the first, maybe credible story from somebody, and they're like, that's all we need to hear, and not listening to anything else.
To be fair, very first early chapters and stuff with Hagrid calling him a bungler to begin with, so,
That's true.
Maybe we should be a little harder on Harry for believing this person had any intention of listening to anybody besides, himself.
Right. Yeah, no, this would even disregarding the rest of the series that we haven't read yet, if we count the ministry's fuck-ups to this point, we've got... Let's see. The first one is arresting Hagrid again. Well,
Book 2.
Book 2. Arresting Hagrid. Without even actually investigating or getting his story. They just go straight to arresting him.
And throwing him in Azkaban.
Right.
Not even a holding cell or anything.
Yeah. So again, showing that there's you either get off scot-free or with a fine, or you go straight to Azkaban. Unless you're a creature and then you get... It's...
Executed.
Execution. What's another bungle that they did?
Well, in this book, we also have the whole thing with Buckbeak and everything.
Buckbeak, not listening to any of that. There's also removing Dumbledore from Hogwarts.
That's book 2 again.
So that's 3 bungles right there.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's insane. They do mention that, they're oh, Harry's gotten so much special treatment. Fuck that. And Snape's just really, really harping on that. Oh, Potter should be, punished even though he says that they were under a confundus charm, he's like, oh, but Harry should be punished. He's been sneaking out illegally to Hogsmeade. It's not illegal. You're just breaking school rules.
Yeah.
It's not against the law to go visit a town. It's just breaking school rules.
This is like a teacher going to the governor of a state, basically, and telling them that this student has been
it's like going to the fucking president.
Hooky. Yeah.
It's going to the president of your country and saying, this child is just unreasonable.
What the hell am I supposed to do about it?
Louis answered this question. I forget what minisode it was and how it ended. It was a minisode.
Where'd Makoto go?
She managed to climb back upstairs. She's sleeping.
She can do stairs.
She can climb up the stairs.
She could also fall off the couch.
Makoto is their new puppy, by the way.
Yeah. Hopefully by the time this episode comes out, it'll be far too late for any of our friends to be spoiled on the surprise. We're keeping that in our back pocket.
Until they decide to show up again?
Yeah.
Yep. And if that is not the case, if you're any of our friends that don't know, you heard nothing.
In all fairness, I think we're behind a couple episodes anyway, because you weren't uploading them for a minute.
That's alright.
It's probably fine.
You haven't been showing up on time either, so, we're all kind of screwing things up to some degree.
I didn't know it was a roast you now.
Look, man, I work third shift. It's hard.
I can't hear you over the sound of you sleeping.
I only snore a little bit.
I did. Oh,
listen,
alright, telling on yourself, but alright.
I was just going to say that you're not supposed to hear someone if they're sleeping.
Also, sidetrack real quick. You should totally put Makoto in a Sailor Jupiter outfit for Halloween.
That would be cool.
Get her a little Sailor Jupiter collar.
I feel
with the bandana.
Having trouble finding them, actually.
Ah, bummer.
I guess anime fans and pet fans, not much crossover in that department.
At least not for Sailor Moon, I guess.
Yeah.
I've seen so many Naruto.
Really?
Yeah, there's tons of Naruto collars and...
There's also just not a lot for big dogs. Even though she's small now, there's just not a lot for big dogs.
That's fair. If anything, you could get like a Sailor Jupiter themed bow for your hair. Mm-hmm. Just like clip it onto a collar.
Oh, yeah, that would work.
Big brain here.
Bless you. She needs a small collar, though.
Well, you just get her any random small collar.
No, I'm just saying I need to get her a small collar.
Yeah. And it'll fit her for about a month.
Yep.
Anyway, I do like the fact that, Dumbledore is honestly the most calm and understanding of the entire situation. Snape's like, you don't believe him, do you? And I'm just sort of like, I feel like Dumbledore would let Sirius Black go even if he was a murderer, just to spite your butt, to be perfectly honest. Because it really does feel, over the course of the series so far, that Dumbledore takes particular pride and joy in making Snape's life miserable. And as a person who does not like Snape, I am all for it.
It's the little things in life.
Yeah, like screwing over an ex-fascist piece of shit.
Let's see. I will admit that Harry does get a little emotional when he's trying to tell them what's going on. But also understandable. You just woke up, found out the man who you should be living with and who's innocent and didn't kill your parents is locked up again and nobody's listening to you. It's like, you need to... But they shouldn't have started off strong with, he's innocent, Peter Pettigrew faked his own death. Be like, hey, listen, we had this whole story, like, we weren't confounded, we did this,
There's really no... They're on a time crunch, though. They've even admitted the fact that they're on a time crunch.
Which is probably why I could see why...
Oh, right, they do say that because Madame Pomfrey does say that the Dementors will be performing the kiss any moment now.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're right, time crunch.
Yeah, you have to get out. He's innocent. Like, that's the first thing.
Yeah, that's fair.
Who cares about the rest of the story right at that moment?
Dark alternate story. What happens if Sirius Black dies here? Like, alternate reality, they don't, Snape knows about the necklace thing, grabs the necklace and on his way out the door and basically glares at Dumbledore, basically. We lose Buckbeak. Sirius Black dies a couple of books earlier and stuff. And I also think
we don't have Grimmauld Places, the meeting place.
Probably not.
Does Snape know that Hermione has a time turner?
I would like to think that he would have some knowledge of it if he even had a basic inkling of her schedule.
I don't think he'd care enough about her schedule to even... I don't think he'd care about her schedule.
He's getting shoved out the door. I feel like it's implied to some degree that he's aware that they did something.
Probably not the details. Because even like...
And he's even telling Dumbledore in that moment, you don't believe them, as if basically saying, what the fuck is wrong with you? Don't try to do anything. I feel like he knows Dumbledore believes them and is going to try and pull something at least.
Yeah, I don't think Snape knows exactly that she has a time turner because, like, it towards the end of the chapter when they go back, Harry's like, there's my cloak, it's right there, and Hermione's still telling him, we can't be seen.
I know that's part of it though. If Snape doesn't have a moment to see them over the course of it, he can't really accuse them of anything. It's like the whole thing with Hogsmeade all over again. He can't make any
it's just baseless assumptions.
Yeah, he can't really say anything without at least some eyewitness testimony from himself. If he can't even account for an eyewitness set, he's screwed. My overarching thought process though is, it feels like Flitwick knows. We know for a fact that McGonagall knows and stuff along those lines because she goes and talks to Flitwick about missing his class and everything. And he's pretty understanding about it, which, Flitwick's honestly probably one of the more, cooler and more relaxed teachers in all of Hogwarts, including McGonagall. So it's one of those things where it's just sort of how would he not have some semblance of, knowledge of this to some degree? It's kind of wild that he's, I don't know if he's just that willfully ignorant, or if he doesn't want to, there's something it's something he's not allowed to say she has, you know what I mean? Mm. If it's something that's so secretive that him saying something could theoretically get him into trouble for mentioning it, you know?
It is possible.
Honestly, though, the minister not knowing about them having it makes some semblance of sense. He's not going to be invested in every little thing, especially if it's a student using the time turner, to be perfectly honest.
That is for the Department of whatever.
Mysteries.
Yeah, that's their job.
Yeah.
Fair. I do also think that, because you mentioned, he's, asked Dumbledore, surely you don't believe a word of Black's story. It says also that, he whispered it. I feel like his vendetta here isn't just because if Rowling had planned what she had planned for the 7th book reveal, it's more he wants, sure, he brings up that Sirius tried to murder him, but it's more of a, don't let Lily's murderer get away with this or come up with some bullshit story.
I would like to think that he'd be pretty quick to throw that out there. You know what I mean? I feel like that would have been, one of the first things out of his mouth to Harry at the very least. This man is directly responsible for your mother. Shut the fuck up. I feel like that would have probably been his, go-to if that was originally, set in stone, so to speak.
I don't think so. I think that's something that he probably would have taken to it. Well, he did take to his grave, technically. But that's not something he would, want to reveal in front of all these people.
He didn't say he was friends with her. My comment was explicitly, this person is directly responsible for your mom's death. Shut up. I was friends if he was talking to Harry under this hypothetical situation. But let's be honest, he doesn't talk to Harry. He yells and he screams and he tells him what to do and and shit and stuff along those lines. It's got nothing to do, you know what I mean?
Oh, okay, you think...
Yeah, if he were to pull that card, he still wouldn't...
Yeah,
he's not going to reveal it. And I'm not 100% certain, because I don't think the first movie started being made until, around the 4th book. And I think it's probably around the 4th book that idea was cemented permanently. Because for a good chunk of, the first 3 and everything, he's just a dick.
Yeah.
There's, he's still a dick in the 4th book and everything and stuff, but, there's, no implications whatsoever outside of him trying to help Harry in the first book and everything. After that point in time, there is, no friendliness, there's no, trying to help him or anything along those lines to some degree. Even if in his own deluded mind he thinks that he's doing the right thing in this book. But man, the way he like. That's the thing, though, is that knowing the full circumstance of what happened between Sirius Black and Snape, all I could think to myself is, how much legal trouble would Black technically be in? Like, on the one hand, he didn't really do anything. He gave him the rope to let him hang himself. You know what I mean? It wasn't like he's like, I'm going to put a wand to your head and shoot you and stuff along those lines. I'm going to give you the rope and let you do it yourself. You know what I mean?
I missed what we were talking about because I was looking something up. What?
Fair enough. How much trouble would Sirius Black actually be if, like, he successfully accidentally killed Snape, basically, as a kid? He didn't technically give him... He didn't shoot him or anything, in a sense. You know what I mean? He didn't Avada Kedavra Snape. If Snape had died in there and stuff along those lines, I feel like he'd be in some serious trouble for the school and everything for revealing how to go through it.
I think he wouldn't have gotten in trouble at all because his parents were super uber duper rich.
Yeah, but his mom hated him.
Yeah, but at the same time,
tarnish on the family name.
He was already.
No, he wasn't.
At that point, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't. I don't think it was until like his last year at schooling, basically.
Okay. Either way, rich families like that would have definitely been like, sure, you're a disgrace, but you're still, unfortunately, our disgrace. The world doesn't need to know you're a black mark on our family.
It's the same thing with the lions from Game of Thrones.
You're
a Lannister.
Well, I hate you, but you're still a Lannister, and you'll show some goddamn respect for this family and not be whoring yourself out there.
Exactly.
You're right. I think him being like one of his last year of school because he left to live with James. I remember.
Yeah. My overarching thought process, though, is that while technically it could be considered an attack on his life, if they were adults, there might be a little bit more to a possible trial. But as a teenager and everything, honestly, I don't know how much what they could really get him.
I feel like it would be like in
He'd
America.
get in trouble for being an animagus.
Well, that wouldn't even be brought up.
That wasn't part of it, unless
if he told him to hit the knot on the tree trunk in order to get it to stop so he could follow Lupin down. That was all the information we know. That's the thing, though, is most of the time when it comes to getting your wand snapped, you have to be doing something specifically yourself. If you're giving somebody else information they technically shouldn't be using and stuff along those lines, and they act on it, how dirty are your hands actually in the circumstance?
Yeah.
I'm not, like, it's been a long time since my legal classes back in 09.
I want to say, like, it would be like a gray zone between, like, juvenile detention and, like, what would it be, like, third-degree murder?
I think it would be, if anything, he'd get charges for malicious intent, but not necessarily, like...
Yeah, it's not, he's not going down for first degree.
No. He'd be...
I forget what it is.
It would be considered manslaughter, not murder, though. Well...
You could be surprised how light the sentencings are for manslaughter, especially here in the States. Accidentally killing somebody might get you in prison for maybe a couple of years tops at best.
Yeah, they'd probably get him on, like, assisted manslaughter, if anything.
And the funny thing is with his rich family, if they're that paranoid about keeping their public image and everything, they could theoretically get him a really damn good lawyer and get him off scot-clean.
Well, okay,
here's the other thing. Randy first.
There's manslaughter, which is totally unintentional, has no forethought, no malice, and then murder, which is you planned it to some degree and you intended, like you were malicious. So I feel like that would have
there's different degrees of murder and different degrees of manslaughter.
Yeah, manslaughter by reason of loss of control, manslaughter by reason of diminished responsibility, unlawful act manslaughter.
I feel like
gross negligence manslaughter. I feel like it would be reason of diminished responsibility.
It's your responsibility not to give them.
Well, you must intend to kill or cause grievous bodily harm. And if he was like, go ahead, go meet a werewolf. Probably, I mean.
It might actually be manslaughter. I know for a fact Lupin would have been kicked out, though. Mm-hmm. He would not. That would have been like the end of it, basically. Lupin would have gone on to never be able to continue on his education and stuff, and might not even get to keep his wand, basically. And he'd probably go and be a hermit for the rest of his life for accidentally killing somebody. I feel like Sirius would be more broken up about Lupin being in the state that he is for accidentally killing someone than he would actually broken up for the death of Snape, to be perfectly
The
honest.
Blacks would have pinned it on Lupin and be like, you know, Lupin betrayed his trust, blah, blah, blah. It's all Lupin's fault, blah, blah, blah.
He's a werewolf.
Our son is so good, blah, blah, blah. And fuck the werewolves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can honestly see, like, this would, like, I'm not going to do a what if on this one, to be perfectly honest, but it is definitely one of those things where it's like, I would look Snape like dead in the eye and be like, you're the moron who decided to go into that fucking tunnel. He gave you the information, you decided to do something stupid. As far as I'm concerned, it's manslaughter at best. Shut the fuck up, stop whining about it.
Oh, wait, no.
Especially since he holds on to that thing for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he badgers on about it and everything as well. And it's, like, pretty big talk from a guy who was running around for a good chunk of the Wizarding War, killing people himself.
Right.
Like honest to God killing people instead of...
How big is your soapbox, Snape?
Yeah, exactly. Might break under the weight of your own frickin' hypocrisy. But I have to admit, though, like, overarching, like, moving away from the whole thing with, like, Snape and Black, we can finally move on a little bit more. The mechanics of how this time travel shenanigan actually works has honestly been pretty well documented online and everything. I personally did not understand the genius of the actual chapter itself. Like, the idea is that because of the fact that you've time traveled and stuff, the events have technically already happened, and ergo it deflates the paradox aspect. And the idea of killing yourself, either your future or your past self, basically, I'm really wondering how the heck that would have worked out. Because if you kill your past self, you would technically
cease to exist
yeah.
right then
So
and
then
there.
you never would have time travel, or...
But then you never would have gone back to kill yourself.
I can see it working like popping or something along those lines. Like they're snapping in and out of existence basically for the rest of their natural born life.
Yeah,
That
so
would be awful.
it's kind of funny. There's a podcast I was listening to. Nothing to do with Harry Potter. It was talking about time travel. Is that there's like two theories of it, of like you either basically you splinter reality, basically. Or the only reason you can time travel is because you've time traveled. So, like...
I am there.
It's like, you can
I
only
think
time
therefore I
travel
am.
to a place if time travel has occurred there already.
I think
So it's
therefore
like,
I am.
kind of like the reason why Harry is able to produce the Patronus.
Because he knew he had done it.
Because he had already done it. So he knew he could do it because he did it. So it's like, well, it's not that. He's like, of course I was going to do it this time. I'd already done it.
Fair enough.
So
try not to loop yourself too much by your.
That's kind of the whole thing.
I know, but you don't want to continue like looping yourself.
But yeah, it's the whole thing where it's like you avoid the paradox because technically everything has already happened, and that's why you just haven't done it yet.
I've always liked the idea behind time travel and stuff working as if you can't change your own past. Like, the line itself can be interfered with. You can go back in time, but once you go back in time, you are now free of any serious changes you would have made now. You know what I mean? So you would, because now there's you go back in time, there's two versions of yourself, right?
Uh-huh.
You can impact the other one's movement forward. But once that happens, you can't go back in time to your own timeline anymore. You're basically...
You have to wait until you've time traveled?
No, you're done.
Oh,
there's technically
permanently two of you.
Yeah.
Because then...
You've changed... Once you alter the timeline...
Because the timeline that
no
you
longer,
came from would no
longer
exist.
exists.
I think
It
that
would be like the TLA.
Yeah, it's a branching
TVA,
point, basically.
they
The
would
only
just
difference
put in
is
TVA.
the old timeline just is gone.
Yeah.
There's nothing
It's a brain
else...
sprint.
it's continuing without you. Because you've left your timeline.
Well... You wouldn't know because you wouldn't be able to get back anymore. Because
Well, yeah, that's what
the
we're
time,
saying. It's
the
like,
time travel would
so,
cut
like
that
the
off. You
TVA.
could only go on the active line, so to speak. And you could go back as many times as you want, but it would just keep creating more branches, so you'd never get home.
Or it's like the theory that, like, you could go back to your timeline, but in your timeline, nothing has changed, because the things that have changed are in the new reality. It's one of those, like, that's another...
It's like a copy, make the change to the copy, but you're still in the original.
Yeah. So it, you know, like, you've downloaded your brain to a computer, but you're still running around.
Yeah, because even if you were to manage to go back to the point where you originally left and stuff, while everything else would have changed, you would still have your own memories of the original timeline. And you'd be completely lost on anything else that would have been
altered.
That's
why we're saying, like, if you could leave where you were at there, with two of you existing, if you could leave back to the point where you left, that's your timeline where nothing has changed, except for the fact that you dipped out for a bit. Yeah. But the other timeline, what you did change, is now on a separate path, and it's a separate person still.
Completely, yeah. Like, it's either it already happened, it's impossible, or you're forever trapped away from your own timeline, basically.
Sounds awful.
It sounds like screwing with it's a really good way to get yourself, like, abandoned and alone and having to restart your life from scratch.
That sounds awful.
In every sense of the word.
That sounds awful. For those of you who aren't aware, when we kept referencing the TVA, that's the Time Variance Authority from the TV show of Loki.
Yeah.
I don't know how many of our listeners are that deep into Marvel, so.
Fair.
MCU stuff.
Time travel is, it's also more likely that if time travel exists, you can't actually change things.
They actually scientifically proven that to a degree time travel is possible. Apparently they've managed to jump something back a second. Only a second.
See, you can't tell me time travel doesn't exist. Explain déjà vu. I don't know how.
I didn't do a whole lot of reading on it or anything along those lines. This could be
Brains don't work.
Yeah.
And a situation you're in is similar enough to a situation you've experienced already.
I don't want a glitch in my brain, alright? It's already broken enough.
Look, man, the human brain, the glitchiest computer there is.
It's supposed to be the smartest supercomputer. It's the glitchiest.
Yeah. No, it's... Time travel is weird. Because it's like, you can't go back in time to kill Hitler, because then you never would have gone back in time to kill Hitler, because he wasn't... Yeah. That's why, most of the time, it's like, you either get a paradox, or you get splinter factions.
See, I like the Doctor Who episode. Don't kill him, just put him in the cupboard.
I just punched out Hitler.
Speaking of Doctor Who, we know that the Doctor's TARDIS is time and relative dimensions in space. Like, not only can you move... Time in relative dimensions. Not only can you move through time, but you can move through space. But, like, how the hell does Hermione's Time Turner move them from the hospital wing down to the Grey Hall?
Yeah, that was weird.
Wait.
Yeah. Because the movie doesn't do that.
In the book, yeah. In the movie, they stay inside.
In the spot.
Yeah, and everything else is rewinding around
Yeah.
them.
But it'll tell you, they stop in the Grey Hall, the empty Grey Hall.
That's wild to me, like, because that definitely makes the frickin', the Time Turner way more powerful, theoretically speaking. I mean, could you imagine popping on the invisibility cloak, using the Time Turner, returning back to a place where you knew your enemies were, and setting off some sort of bomb or explosion before dipping basically out? Like, the amount of... honestly, I feel like magic, in every sense of the word, has never had, like, really taken into account just how absolutely dogshit terrifying some of this stuff could actually be if you had a person capable of basically altering reality around them to some degree.
Entrance hall, though. Not the Great Hall.
And
but still, the hospital wing, isn't that, like, up on, like, the 4th or 5th floor or something?
Rotational movement of the Earth.
Yeah, I was gonna throw that theory out there because I've heard Whovians pull that one, like, they shouldn't be, like, landing in the same spot or whatever, but because the Earth would have moved, but
relative.
They're still,
it's
like...
relative!
But, but if you're applying that theory to Hermione's Time Turner, there's still stories up in the hospital wing.
Yeah, because I don't think the hospital wing's on the first floor.
So, I can understand being above the entrance
Magic!
hall.
I was waiting to say that line.
Fuck you.
If anything, I think the best theory it has is that it moves you close enough to where you were 3 hours ago, but not necessarily in direct path of you. I only think that because it's like, where were we 3 hours ago? Like, I think they might say that, like, oh, what were we doing 3 hours ago?
I think Hermione made a mention of that while Harry's still trying to figure out what the hell is going on, basically. What are we doing?
Yeah, so I think it's just like, where were they at 3 hours ago?
Which, to me, random tangent thought, Harry is not neurodivergent. There's no way, because he was like, oh, we were going we were going here. You asked me what I was doing 3 hours ago, I will have to think for a hot minute to be able to tell you what I was doing.
No, because she's like, oh yes, that was us walking down to Hagrid's. So, he wasn't, yeah.
I was thinking of the movie where he was like, we're doing this.
Yeah.
Right, the movie gave...
Because they were in the same spot, but here
Okay.
she was like, someone's coming, I think it might be us. Yes, that's us going down to
Okay, so
Hagrid's.
Hermione's not neurodivergent at all.
I mean, that kind of makes sense. She's probably one of the most
man,
well-organized minds in the
Harry's still
series.
barely awake from what happened in the hospital wing, and now he's back in time? He has no idea what the fuck's going on.
Dude, he's gonna have a bad headache in the morning.
Okay, so here's the other thing, though. If Hermione is... Like, after Hermione uses the time turner and enough time has passed, if she goes back in time, could she comfortably meet herself without herself going crazy? Because both versions would know about the time turner.
Yeah, that's my thing, is like, Hermione should never be confused that she's coming across herself, because she knows she has a time turner, and she knows that she's going, like, for example, when she goes to classes, it's very possible she runs into herself in the hall and would be like, class. Bye.
I feel like the only thing would be is that she's intentionally avoiding two of her being spotted at the same time by
Which
other
is
classmates.
very possible.
That, in order to keep the secret and everything. But theoretically speaking, she should not have an issue with it after the first go-around. That being said, how would you mess with yourself if you got a time turner? Like, you got it. You test it out. Would you mess with yourself at all? Like, would
Oh my god, that's why we lose things so much.
There's a version of you
hell?
time traveling and grabbing
No! No!
There's a future version of yourself moves it on you. And that's why things that you know that were in a specific spot, and you put it there, and then you come back,
So
and
there's
suddenly...
no gremlin in the house. The gremlin is me.
Potentially.
That's a funny line.
It's fairies or it's time travel.
I just had a great thought, though.
Yes.
You can't tell me that Hermione did not ever have a solo study session where it was her and a bunch of her just being like, alright, we're going to study arithmetic tonight. We're going to study transfiguration.
Oh god, I don't know if I could handle that many Hermiones in one room.
That's an empty classroom.
At that point, though, I feel like the problem is that...
We're going into red versus blue territory when he had all the versions of himself during trying to stop the explosion from going on.
Because here's the thing, though. You'd have to keep going back at different... So, like, let's say you have Hermione 1 through 10. Each one would have to be spaced out that they traveled at a different point in time.
Yeah. So, basically, she'd set herself up. Each hour, each one would turn themselves backwards a set amount of time. So, person who's an hour ahead would send herself back 1 hour. Person who's 2 hours
hang on, I gotta
ahead
think
would
about
set
this for a
themselves
second.
back 2 hours.
Okay, so
you
and so on and so
plan
forth.
ahead. Okay,
Yeah.
no, you planned backwards.
Yes.
Okay, tonight, last night we're going to have a study party.
Wait, because here's the thing. But
All of a sudden, there's an army of Hermiones
wait, hang on,
walking
hang on.
down the hall.
But that's the thing, is like, okay, so you have Hermione 1 leaves at 9 o'clock to go to 8 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at 8 o'clock, because that Hermione already had a study session at 8, right?
Yes.
Okay. So she's there
We
with...
have Hermione Prime.
So we have Hermione Prime, who's at the study session at 8
Right.
o'clock.
She's the person not
So
using
then
the
we
time
have
turner.
Prime going back in time and becoming 1.
Yes.
And then you have one
But-
Prime.
But
She has to live through that
But
entire 2 hours again.
Hermione 1 has to then time travel again at 10 o'clock to become Hermione 2.
Yes.
So then you have Prime 1 and 2.
Yes.
So it's even worse than...
It's all one person, but it's her multiple times at one time.
So,
Listen,
but here's the thing. She's still the one doing all the studying.
Right.
But
Well,
she'd have
never in doubt.
She has company,
She has
though.
company.
Yeah, she's got
Nah,
people
you
of
would
her
do-
same intellectual caliber, unlike all of the other knuckle draggers here at Hogwarts.
See, but then her mind would just break and shatter because Hermione, the first Hermione, didn't experience all this the first time round.
Oh God, it could get even funnier. We're doing it by hour increments.
So then it's
could you
like-
imagine if it could be in smaller? Like it's a half hour instead of an hour, so that means there's even more of them.
Nah, this would just fuck her brain up. That's where the problem is.
Oh no,
I don't think it's a problem if you see yourself, if you know that you saw yourself. If you know you might run into yourself, but like intentionally doing it like that, and being engaging in things together, a little confusing. But then it's like you're gonna time travel later because like, oh, I saw myself time traveling, so I know I'm gonna time travel. Just like it's like Harry's. Well, I knew I could do the Patronus because I did the Patronus. I saw myself do it, so I know I can do it.
All I could think to myself is the shenanigans that you could theoretically get up to with this whole thing and everything would be wild. Could you imagine using the time turner to commit pranks? Oh God, you could mess with
Nobody
Snape.
give this to Fred and George.
Oh no!
Oh my God! Oh my!
Oh no! There'd be 4 of them running around. They've got the Marauders reborn.
You said mess with Snape. My mind jumped tracks to let's fuck with the potion cabinet.
What are you talking about? I was with McGonagall talking about her homework lessons all day today.
She can verify.
She can verify. I saw you in my office. No idea. You know what? Maybe it's that thing with Harry's head at Hogsmeade and everything. Your eyes are just playing tricks on you.
Doesn't he look tired?
Oh God! More Whovian references, by the way.
It's all British. Come on.
Wow.
The movie answered your you can see yourself though because when Hermione left Hagrid's hut and they're hunted down.
She thinks she sees something,
Yeah.
but she did
Well,
see something because she saw.
Yeah, well, she the Hermione who traveled back pushed down the branches and was like, "Is that really what my hair looks like?" And snapped a twig, and then Hermione in the present or past or whatever, the Hermione who hadn't traveled, looked back like,
What the fuck was that? But the only reason she looked back is because Hermione time. It's the whole like you can do it because you've done it, and it's kind of like the whole where when they rescue Buckbeak, they still heard the axe swinging. Buckbeak never actually got murdered in the first place because
Poor
Hermione had already traveled back to rescue him.
I know it's a fence post in the book, but poor pumpkin.
Poor pumpkin.
To be fair, a pumpkin in the middle of
June.
spring.
That's a huge ass pumpkin in the middle of June. That's really strange. I don't.
Yeah.
What is Hagrid
Magic.
feeding? What is Hagrid feeding them?
Magic. He has to start them early so they can be big enough to be fully grown by to be big enough to sit in by Halloween.
You know what I would do if I was Hagrid? Okay, I know in the book, if you're reading the chapter, McNair swung his axe into a fence post, which I feel like would not make
Split
the same.
all the way down.
It would split all the way down, depending on how big the axe is and how hot.
If it's sharp enough to cut through bone, it should be sharp enough to cut through
Well, it depends on the
bird
wood.
bones. Never mind, though.
And the
Yeah.
angle. If he
And the angle.
In the angle. Anyway,
How
back to
hard
your
he was.
point.
But, in the movie, he swung it at a pumpkin. And you made a good point of, you have to start them early so they're big enough in time for Halloween. Can you imagine how Hagrid would feel if that was the whole point of growing the pumpkins that early in the year? I'd be invoicing the ministry, but look, I know you were out here to try and kill my bird, but you just killed my crops instead, and now what am I going to do?
You murdered one of my pumpkins, and those are my prize and joy.
honestly,
for emotional damage.
I feel like Hagrid's probably more happy at the moment that Buckbeak is alive and well, rather than actually caring one or two about the
Oh,
fence
yeah,
fires.
definitely. It would definitely be like a day or two later where it would be like, well, shit! Now what am I gonna do?
So this is definitely from like a Tumblr post, making a good point. So in book 5 or 6, 6, Hagrid gets Buckbeak back. They just call him Witherwings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Oh no, Buckbeak ran off. Well, what about this one? That looks like Buck. No, that's a different hippogriff. But it's no, this is different. This is Witherwings. You could have done it the whole time.
They really could have. And as a vet tech seeing animals, it is scary how often similar coat patterns come up. I've had 2 different cats in my clinic at different times that look exactly like my black and white cat.
Point in case here as well. So there's a stray cat that used to hang around our neighborhood, right? Right? Very identifiable out of all the other cats. There's a brand new kitten. Identical markings.
There's fucking stories online where
People are like,
I thought
I let my cat
in.
in, but my cat's on the porch looking like he's mad that I didn't let him in.
Now I have 2.
Exactly.
Or you can have multiple cats in an apartment as long as they're all the same. They'll never know that they're different cats. Apparently that's happened sometimes. Like a woman, her husband didn't realize that they had more than one cat for a while because he had never seen both cats in the same room.
Oh.
That's the secret.
Don't you freaking dare. I've got a hard limit on how many pets in this household. You pull that, I will be honest to God irritated.
Let's be real. It's a soft limit because if you found a poor little stranded kitten on the side of the road,
He said,
crying,
4 is a hard limit.
A soft limit.
Would it be a soft limit still?
Yeah.
it's a
4
soft
was
limit.
the soft
5
limit.
was a hard limit.
Hard was 5.
Yep,
and
because
only under a certain circumstance where there was a specific animal
can't
that
pay any
you...
money for it.
Yes.
Or it has to be very ill and I can take care of it, nurse it back, type of thing. Or one of our
and after that, you have to even if you found a poor little stranded kitten that was like, "Please adopt me," you'd be like, "And take you to somebody else."
Yes. It has to be like one of it's got to be one of her
Unless
preferred
it's a Siamese
breed.
cat.
No, there was a couple of them.
Siamese,
That's one of them.
Maine Coon, Norwegian,
Maine Coon.
Somali.
Yeah, those are the rules. Free or sick, and one of those breeds that you absolutely want to have and stuff along those lines. It's a 1 in a million opportunity.
So about a Maine
You're
Coon.
allowed to take it.
I think one of the kittens might be a Maine Coon.
I want a real Maine Coon.
Oh, okay.
I don't want a giant long-haired cat. I want a Maine fucking Coon.
Valid. Anyway.
I do have to admit though, like the whole thing with like Hagrid actually jumping for joy and like stuff, and like the idea that they were so far away that they couldn't tell the difference between a post and a Buckbeak getting killed, and couldn't tell the difference between Hagrid's wailing of joy and his Hagrid's wailing of sadness.
To be fair, if you are very good at your job as an executioner, and the axe goes through in one clean swoop, you wouldn't necessarily be able to tell the difference between hitting a wooden fence post and, say, hitting a wooden stump that the neck was on.
But knowing their friend's cry of anguish versus cry of joy...
I don't know. Hagrid's crying, hard to tell.
Mm-mm. Okay, so for the layperson, I could see where you could argue it could sound very similar. But until you have been in a euthanasia room, watching a pet owner say goodbye and giving that cry of anguish, it is not the same.
I've been that person, so I know.
I didn't know. But it's... For people out there, unless you've been in their room and hearing that cry of anguish, it is not the same as a cry of joy. Like, even from afar, I feel like they should have been able to be like, but he's not... That's not the same... That doesn't sound right.
Or maybe they just don't know the cry of anguish.
Yeah. The one thing about this chapter is McNair, though. he eventually is revealed to actually be a Death Eater and everything. He pops back up in the 4th book.
Hence why he becomes an executioner.
The wild thing to me is, I don't think he gets mentioned past that point.
No.
You would
I feel
think with the importance of name dropping him here, him being brought back up in the 4th book, I honestly had always anticipated him having some semblance of...
He gets brought back up in the 5th book.
I say
He goes to
maybe,
ask.
like-
He's one of the people who gets arrested.
Yeah, here's the
Or
thing,
6th
though.
book?
I would have
6th book,
always...
maybe.
This is one of those things where I honestly think she fumbled the bag a little bit in terms of the character dynamics. To a lesser extent, the confrontation between Neville and Bellatrix never happened, which I feel was honestly a missed opportunity. While I love Molly's "not my daughter, you bitch" line from the finale and everything against Bellatrix,
Neville really deserved that.
Yeah.
Neville didn't necessarily deserve to kill her, but I do believe that a second confrontation after losing the first one in the Department of Mysteries, basically,
Something where he kicked her ass and came out on top.
Yes, he needed a W in that department. The other one that I think, to a lesser extent, that should have happened to some degree would have been Hagrid versus McNair. Honest to God, this guy has basically had it in for magical creatures. He has taken this job specifically to kill interesting creatures, according to Hagrid and everything. This bastard shows up to kill his magic creature and stuff along those lines, and gets upset about not killing them, and is a Death Eater and everything. I feel like this should have been on site for Hagrid.
Yeah.
Like, I could honestly see him just knuckling McNair's head, basically, and it's just sort of like,
Honestly,
this is for all of the magical creatures that were innocent that you killed, motherfucker.
Which, did we talk about previously how barbaric they are? Like, wizardry? Like,
you have
I'm
a
gonna-
killing curse that kills people painlessly, but you're gonna go around chopping heads off of magical creatures.
But, like, even the muggles did it better than you do. They created euthanasia solution.
A guillotine, to be perfectly honest.
My only thought is that magical creatures tend to have a high resistance to magic, potentially, and potions. So they go back to muggle methods of execution.
Okay, but can you consider euthanasia solution a potion?
Yes, again, could be immune to potion.
That didn't answer my question, but it did. So, yes, she would consider euthanasia solution a potion.
I have no idea how that would technically work, but that's beside the point.
Would they be able to use muggle? They wouldn't.
They don't
use muggle medicine though.
No. Muggle electronics don't work past the fence. But that doesn't mean they don't use muggle things.
To be honest,
they use
a
some
record
muggle
player
things, but they also
in the movies and everything
the
as
gramophone?
well. Yeah, like where
radios.
does the line? Yeah, they have Potter Watch inside of the school
On a
basically,
radio.
on a radio station set up and everything.
But to be fair,
What defines technology in magical artifacts? Basically, like where is the line of like what is like, you know what? I get the feeling my Game Boy's not going to work.
I would argue that a radio technically could work. Well, one, it's probably a magical radio that only picks up magical broadcast, so it probably has a crystal instead of
Wires.
whatever, and it's really just like a receiver and a speaker is just a thing that can vibrate.
All I could think to myself is that we are really splitting hairs on this one.
Look, man, it's why this isn't a very well written world.
Oh, bad.
We know that they have cameras.
Yeah, that like.
Because
it feels like there's a certain degree of analog that needs to exist
Yeah.
in order for it to be considered like magic.
Yeah, because the cameras, it sounds like it's a normal camera with normal film.
Aha.
Because it's a potion that makes
that'll
it moving.
it come alive.
In defense of cameras originally were more of a chemical reaction and not like electronic pixels and everything. So it was more
it's still
just
muggle that
it was-
they would have used.
True.
The
but
train
Watch
was
it.
also a muggle
Harry's
thing.
watch.
Also a muggle thing.
Gears.
There is some level of analog to it and everything, but still.
It has to be mostly like gears unless.
I love making her
Yeah,
jump
you're
through
right
hoops
because
and explain
technically
things.
a watch would only be able to work at Hogwarts if it was like a wind-up watch that runs basically on spring action and
Oh my
gears.
gosh.
So, you have to
How do you wind up the school, the one that's on the tower? They've got like their own little big
That's
bag.
magic.
That's probably why Phil's just pissed, because he has to wind that bitch all the time.
No, at that point, it works on magic.
I just had this thought, because wasn't it like book 4 in the lake event that Harry was like, yeah, my watch hasn't been working since here.
Yeah,
He just hasn't been winding it.
yeah, but it's probably a digital watch. Because, yeah, again, it's one of those things that it's like, what level of electronic versus analog does the device need to be?
How advanced.
And to be fair, it's not that things don't necessarily work. I think, if anything, the rule is it's not that things don't work. It would be more of the lines of things don't work correctly.
It's glitchy.
Kind of like the car becoming sentient.
You think it's just because of the concentration of magic of Hogwarts and everything?
Yeah, and it's a lot easier to just say they don't work, as opposed to some things work and some things don't, but we don't really have a good idea of why or what.
It's the Beast Castle.
It's the saturation of magic here just messes with shit in weird
Not all
ways.
of it is furniture.
No, but it's not alive.
Not all of the furniture is alive. But a lot of it is. Beauty and the Beast 2 and the trip to IKEA.
Jeez. Disney references on top of it.
Is it really a podcast from us if we're not doing references on references on references? We live on references.
Yep. Look, man, we're the Tumblr generation. We created it.
I've been on Tumblr very rarely. Mostly for fan comics, to be perfectly honest.
Okay, but we're the meme generation, too.
It's true.
We're probably the most prominent meme generation. The term meme pre-existed the internet, to be honest.
I was going to say, please don't refer to us as a meme.
Wow, now that you say it.
You really need to learn to keep your mouth shut sometimes, because now you're just inviting disaster.
No.
Call us a meme in the comments and stuff. It'll irritate my wife. It'll be funny.
Please post all your Harry Potter memes.
Ooh. Too bad we don't have this on, like, some sort of, like, place where you can, in fact, post, like, gifts and stuff along those lines.
Can't you?
Maybe we should have our own Twitter account or something.
We could also load these up to
Instagram.
Spotify at some point.
Oh, that'd be cool.
We might actually get more traction on Spotify, to be perfectly honest. If that's possible. I honestly have no idea, to be perfectly honest. I'm doing this through, like, the skin of my teeth trying to figure this stuff out. So
we're doing it for fun.
I'm no, like, master technician or anything.
That's fair.
Sick thing. I like how so much of this chapter and everything is just them sort of just hanging around watching the previous chapter and stuff like right, I guess just stay here.
Right, which at least in the movie they make it a little more exciting. Also, by the way, when I was talking about the time travel thing, shout out to the Mistholm Museum of Mystery, Morbidity, and Mortality for that theory. It's a very good podcast. I definitely recommend it.
I think you also recommended the one Vale, like Night Vale or something.
Welcome to Night Vale. It's also a great one.
I fell off of that after a while.
I also really enjoy the Magnus Archives.
To be fair, Night Vale is good and everything. It's just like after a while, I was just sort of like,
you gotta stick with it to get to the juicy bits.
The beginning parts were very episodic and stuff, which was good, but I just wasn't. It wasn't hooking me.
I feel like Welcome to Night Vale has the same problem that, like, Adventure Time, Steven Universe, and shows like that have, is that they start off kind of silly and goofy, and things are just happening because, and then as the show gains more traction, you're like, oh, there's actually serious plot here.
You mean like Red vs. Blue?
Yes.
Oh, the Cerberus syndrome.
What's the Cerberus syndrome?
TV tropes, comments and stuff. Cerberus syndrome is basically a series that starts off a little lighthearted, a little goofy, and as it progresses, it slowly gets darker and darker in tone and stuff.
Yes.
It's one of those like little things that you pick up on dicking around on TV tropes when you're bored and stuff along those lines, where it's basically an analogy. Red versus Blue is a very good case of it and stuff along those lines, where it starts off as a very funny, goofy, nonchalant thing.
First
season. Then a plot emerges.
Yeah.
And then things get really dark or more serious or more
Let's
adult. You know what? My Little Pony also.
He went from, like, friendship is magic to Dragon Ball Z battles, basically, towards the later part of it. That fight against T-Rex was awesome. Though. Well, yeah, that series went on for a good while.
Things like that. So I think that's part of Night Vale's, is it's very much Cerberus. It starts off just kind of random and goofy, and then it's like, oh, there's actually plot and storyline here and reoccurring things.
It wasn't bad, don't get me wrong.
No.
It just wasn't hooking me not quite as effectively. And to be honest, things
I've
that have
hooked
on
to recommend to you then.
I've also gotten hooked on things and then drifted away from them over time and stuff along those lines. Like, I was a really big fan of My Hero Academia, and then I just
ADHD
got distracted and lost track of where I was at and stuff along those lines.
But you do that in video games too. You play one for a really long time, and then you forget what you stop. Like Skyrim. I bet you play Skyrim for a long time, stop playing, come back, and you're like...
I hate Skyrim.
No, I don't think he's done that with video games.
Fair enough.
If he's playing a story-based game, he will usually play it till it's done.
It's taking me forever to get through them on Twitch and everything. I just don't have... I don't really have the time.
Every time I play any semblance of a semi-open world game where I have side quests...
That's me on Pokemon.
I'm never gonna get through shit.
It's me on Pokemon.
I finally beat Scarlet.
Nice.
Except for the endgame stuff, but like I beat the Area Zero. Yay me.
You have Arceus back?
Yes.
Okay.
What?
I still haven't finished Arceus.
I got it back and everything, and I was lost because my friend Cameron had borrowed it and everything for an extremely long period of time. My husband. And I finally got it back and everything, and I was like, I have no idea where I was or what the hell I was doing, and I'm like, damn it, I'm probably going to have to start from scratch again.
In our defense, we asked if it was okay for us to borrow it, and you said, yeah, I'm not going to play it for a while.
Well, Brandy was in the middle of... I got it. I got to start.
Brandy finished it first.
Then Brandy stole it, and then she got to the end of the story and everything, and then it was around that time Cameron asked, and I was like, well, I haven't got, whatever, fine.
Yeah.
I've got plenty of other things that keep me occupied and everything. I've got quite the collection.
Harry Potter, because we have 15 minutes.
Anyway, getting back on track and everything, Hermione and Harry basically, wandering around the background as the major events continue on. And, of course, we finally get Pronks,
Prongs.
Yeah.
Pronks.
I'm not British, alright? Get off my back. Anyway,
ain't English then.
Oh, and he realizes his
I ain't bothered, I swear.
You the doctor?
Yeah. Rose by any other name. That was just a sweet. Okay, we got 15 minutes. We're back.
So Harry's like, oh, a deer is my Patronus. Oh, 'cause my dad. It was a deer.
I get it now.
Antlers. I'm stupid.
If it was a snake, it would have bit me.
Also, side note, real quick. It's still related to Harry Potter though. Snape seeing Lily as a doe with his Patronus is honestly almost a little insulting because it basically just dumbs her down to, oh, well, she's just the wife of
They change.
James.
They change because of love. Tonks changed when she fell in love.
Yes.
It's same thing happened with Lily.
My point is that Snape's Patronus being a doe feels a little insulting to Lily in the sense that, she's not even her own creature. She's just a doe, which is the partner of a buck or a stag, which just is, so she's just James Potter's wife. Dumb.
Honestly,
it's not really a solid theory. I just thought about it and I was like, man, that kind of makes me mad. She should have been her own animal that represented herself.
She probably was before she fell in love with James.
Yeah, that honestly would have been a cool concept, though, if Snape had his Patronus was in the original form that hers had been. You know what I mean? Because Rowling had made a case.
Oh,
that
like if he had a different Patronus for a
but
while, and then
no.
Like
His Patronus
was
was
her
the same Patronus as hers when they were friends, but when she fell in love, hers changed and his stayed the same, implying that while she was capable of moving on and growing as a person, he is still stagnant as he was originally at that point in time.
yeah, this had nothing to do with her Patronus though.
I know, but I feel
okay.
But to be perfectly honest, though, she is a plot point. She's been dead the entire series.
Yeah, I know.
So is James.
I'm just saying.
Like, they're only at... They have a couple of moments where they arguably have dialogue. And that is... Anytime that Harry has a memory of, like, around the Dementors, the only other time is the wand core thing happening in Book 4, where they're ghosts...
Or in Snape's
out.
literal memories in the Pensive.
Yeah, but that's still that's more of a flashback thing. The other one being the stone in the forest, basically. Yeah. I don't know if I would consider any of them actually being there or just echoes of the past in a sense, even though they're technically active characters in the story.
But they're not.
Anyway, we finally we figure everything out. We see McNair heading for the
Hermione makes the excellent point of they didn't capture Pettigrew after he escaped again is because how the fuck are you gonna find a rat in the dark? Valid.
But we
beady little eyes.
We need an owl. Like, if only somebody had an owl, a creature that was nocturnal and very effective at hunting things in the middle of the night.
They didn't have time to go all the way to the owlery. You know how far away that bitch is?
It's not
you
like
know how good an owl's hearing is? You can't tell me Harry didn't be like... Hedwig! And she would come fluttering down.
Hello, Conchi.
Hi,
if
sorry,
she was
buddy.
near enough to hear him... I'm sorry, but if she's like a mile away...
Oh, God. There's an alternate what-if for this story. What if Harry had just hold on, I've got an idea. Grabs Hedwig, and after the events and stuff along those lines, she's just actively trailing him, basically, scoops him up. He wakes up in the hospital after the Time Turner thing, and she just flies in the window and drops his ass into the freaking room. Spell turns him human right in front of the minister.
He doesn't know the spell.
You believe me now?
He doesn't know the spell. Also,
this is a what if, damn it. Stop correcting me every single time when I'm going on a tangent. I am not trying to take everything out of my mouth seriously.
Wouldn't it have been easy, even if, wouldn't it have been easy to just grab the memories out of Harry's and Ron's and Hermione's heads real quick?
That wasn't a thing.
Is that not admissible?
It was not a thing.
I feel like that should be admissible evidence.
They've got a truth. They've got a truth serum that is in Snape's fucking room right now. They could literally go grab it and feed it to somebody.
But also, even if they were confunded and the virtue serum would still make them lie, because if you believe it to be the truth, you'll say it as the truth. You could pull their memories out to see what actually happened.
Snowy owls have a very good hearing, can hear up to 7 miles away, so...
Well, God damn it!
Put that in your juice box second.
So what you're saying is...
Harry's an idiot.
Harry's an idiot!
Hedwig's a bitch. Because she heard all this shit going on and heard about a rat. A rat's fucking with my boy? And didn't go and hunt down that rat. What a bitch.
Hedwig can see into the future... And so she knew that at some point Harry was going to be talking with Sirius and be like, they're not going to fucking use me. I'm not going to fucking help him now, assholes.
Hedwig's a sassy bitch.
She is a sassy.
It is a lot more complicated for Sirius's rescue in the book than it is in the movie. In the movie, they're like, yes, Buckbeak lands in a nice place to land. And this is literally flapping his wings outside the window. And if you think about it, Sirius had to jump.
Oh, God. How high up were they?
Pretty fucking high.
Because if you think about how big a wingspan on a hippogriff would have to be able to carry
What
it.
if he was...
That's a pretty big wingspan.
Oh, no. I believe that.
So, he had to... Unless...
Wingardium Leviosa.
Hear me out.
Give me a second. I got one better.
Unless he reared up... He backed up... Beep, 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 to the window.
To the wall.
So that he could clamber on that way. Sirius would have had to jump.
Here's the thing, though, for like the whole wingspan thing, magic.
Okay. Magic, but still needs large enough wings.
Magic.
Okay. All right, hold on. Another reference. Backing up to the wall.
Beep, beep.
Dangerous
Beep.
at both ends.
Crafty in the middle. We're getting all of the British
Hopefully
references
Buckbeak
today.
already had about. Does he have bowel movements like a bird or a horse?
Oh, I was thinking.
Oh no! What would be worse? Horse shit from 3 stories high, directly on your head or your car, or a bird shit from something the size of a horse dropping down and
Well, here's
drenching
a
your
question.
ass. Oh,
because
God.
they're
Horse.
part
I'll take
eagle.
the horse.
I'm kidding.
Because they're part eagle.
Oh,
How
God.
do eagles' bowel movements work? Because I know owls drop pellets.
They
What-
regurge. They vomit those back up.
Oh, okay.
The pellets have the bone and fur. They're in their
Yeah.
throat, and they throw them back up. All birds and reptiles that have the cloaca, where they don't have like external genitalia, they all have like the same sort of like piss and shit situation going on.
Birds are gross.
Yeah, I feel like just knowing how bird shit looks, I'm gonna take horse shit.
You're gonna get thumped, man.
Maybe I won't wake up. But no,
If I got hit by that, I wouldn't want to wake up. I'd be scrubbing myself for weeks.
But, okay. I was thinking more of the back half of Buckbeak is a horse. Horses kick.
Oh, yeah. That's
Horses kick backwards.
Yes, they do. Because they're assholes.
Oops. Anyway.
Stop blowing holes in my ship!
It was already hanging on by a thread. Leave me alone.
This book isn't written well.
This book is literally falling apart. In order to wrap everything up, I honestly think that this line from Sirius is probably something that Harry really appreciated hearing. You are truly your father's son, Harry. And I'm just sort of like...
That probably, yes.
That's
because
the
how
best-
many times
That's
is
the
he
nicest
here?
thing Harry's ever heard before.
Are you crying for him?
Yes.
It's like say what you want about the series. There's some really heartfelt like lines and stuff over the course of this book that could really make a man's heart melt if you threw it out there properly. Now looking back and seeing how this chapter ended when they parted ways, I feel like Hermione was a lot more involved in the dialogue and stuff than in the movie. You know, I'm starting to realize...
She gives them a moment in the movie.
he makes a comment to her, too, as well. You truly are the brightest witch of your age and stuff. And I'm just sort of thinking to myself, dude, you've got a minimum amount of time and everything. Why are you talking to Hermione about this sort of thing? She already knows she's smart. Chill. I was been watching a lot of videos and stuff lately, especially of how much extra Hermione gets. Like, she takes a lot of Ron's moments and lines over the course of the books to the movies and stuff, but she also takes a lot of Harry's moments of logic and sense as well. And a lot of, like, she absorbed a lot of the personality traits of the other two characters. And that's part of the reason I'm very curious about...
They didn't think she had a good enough character to begin with, so they had to give her everybody else's.
Yeah, but, like, I feel like in the movie, this whole scene was basically just, they shoved it to Harry. Like, the whole, like, Time Turner scene, because, like, the only memorable thing from Hermione from the movie in that scene... That, and I really don't like flying!
Oh, and my hair looks stupid in the back.
No, is that what my hair looks like? It, like, just
Same thing.
menial things.
To be perfectly honest, you had an opportunity to check out the backside of your body.
You have a curly hair, and you look at the back? Yes. I've heard I've watched a lot of curly girl TikTok and videos and shit. Yeah, I 100% believe she would have absolutely seen what her hair, been curious about it.
At least
Girls
we didn't go with...
Curly hair.
At least
Curls are the worst.
Yeah.
At least we didn't go with the stereotypical comment. Wow, my butt really looks big from back here. Or something along those lines. Dear God.
She was only supposed to be 13.
When has that ever stopped anybody writing a story, ever? I didn't say it was right.
Okay.
I'm just saying,
Okay.
has it ever stopped somebody from making that comment?
You know who else was only like 13? Sailor Moon.
I think she was technically 14-ish.
At some point. But still, how many sexual comments were made in that anime?
How sexualized
But they're
was she?
cousins.
Yeah, go take your husband to work. Get out of
That's
here.
what America said.
That still baffles my mind.
Sexualizing
Basically.
children, yes.
Lesbians.
I don't believe that. But lesbians, no way, sir, for me.
This is a family show. Have some decency. Show
Make
some
it-
respect.
Now,
Why are you
watch
saying
this person
Why are you
almost
saying
look
this middle
completely-
schooler is going together with a college student?
In short skirts.
Bye!
Those skirts are way so dang short and stuff. I would not let my daughter walk out with a skirt that short.
While we were watching Sailor Moon, didn't we make comments about, like, we were, like, pretty sure we got panty shots?
We did get panty shot. And the worst part is most of the panty shots were by Chibiusa.
Yeah.
Hey,
granted-
you know what? She's over a couple hundred years
I was gonna
old.
say, now granted, she's like 900 years old.
Perfectly legal. I'm throwing up quotation marks right now.
But she's in the body of an 8-year-old.
It's
You were
so
so
creepy. I don't
cringe.
care if the
Cringe.
childlike individual is
Or
supposedly
something.
200 years older. It's still freaking creepy.
900.
Even people with dwarfism still look like adults.
Yeah, they're proportioned properly and everything.
Well,
It's-
sort of.
This really
I mean, you
But
could be
anyway.
unfortunately flat-chested if you're a dwarf female and everything. That just kind of...
Anyway.
That'd be a relationship I'm never touching because I would
Uh-huh.
feel creepy regardless of the actual
If
age.
you guys want more of my content, you can find me at Luna's Creation Corner on most social media.
You can find me on YouTube at Brandywine Stitches or everything or everywhere else, Hockeytown Candle Co.
Why does Hera have a picture of herself in this?
I don't know. Throw up your tags. He's looking at his
Twitch.
background.
Twitch. Cole Sanders. Coal Sanders. Oftentimes, Mondays, Wednesdays, anywhere from like 6 o'clock to about 7 o'clock, depending on if I've got to put my kids to bed. Feel free to come visit. I'm still grinding away at Persona 3. I'm getting to the point where I'm half tempted to just chuck the guide out and just continue on my own, because I want to continue on with the dang story instead of grinding up frickin' money and shit and stuff along those lines and Mementos. It's pissing me off. No, wait, Mementos was the 5th game. Sorry, Labyrinth, whatever. Anyway,
One of the things.
Like, comment, subscribe, and above all, keep your wands at the ready.
Bye!